The legend of Atlantis has fascinated people for thousands of years. But what if I told you? We might be completely wrong about it. Atlantis wasn't just a myth, but a hidden clue to something much bigger. Stick around, because today we're diving into the untold secrets of the lost city. And trust me, this is a story that will change how you think about ancient history. First off, let's talk about the source of it all. The story of Atlantis comes from one place: Plato, the ancient Greek philosopher. He described Atlantis as a powerful and advanced civilization that existed over 11,000 years ago, a mighty empire that supposedly controlled much of Europe and Africa, until one day, in a single night, it was wiped out by a disaster so massive it sank beneath the waves forever. But here's the twist. No other ancient texts ever mention Atlantis, and no one has found any physical evidence. So, the big question is, was Atlantis real, or just a made-up story? Before we go any further, I want to hear from you. Do you think Atlantis ever existed? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now, because this debate has been raging for centuries, and it's about to get even more interesting. Let's look at why Plato might have written about Atlantis. Many scholars believe he didn't mean for it to be taken literally. Instead, Atlantis was a symbol, a warning about human arrogance. Plato wrote that the Atlanteans grew so corrupt and greedy they were destroyed by the gods as punishment. So, was this whole thing just a moral lesson? Or is there something more? Well, here's where things get complicated. Over the years, plenty of people have believed Atlantis was a real place. Explorers, scholars, even mystics all became obsessed with finding it. Some thought it was in the Mediterranean. Others believed it was somewhere in the Americas. And here's the crazy part. Some people today still claim that they've found evidence of Atlantis. But is any of it legit? Let's take a look at one of the most popular theories. One of the strongest arguments links Atlantis to the Minoan civilization, an advanced society that thrived on Crete about 300-500 years ago. They had cities, art, and a navy that rivaled anyone in the world at the time. But here's the catch. Around 1600 BC, the nearby island of Santorini was devastated by one of the largest volcanic eruptions in history. The eruption caused massive tsunamis, which destroyed much of the Minoan civilization. Sound familiar? This disaster is eerily similar to Plato's description of Atlantis being swallowed by the sea. But there's a problem. Plato says Atlantis existed 9,000 years before his time, way before the Minoans. So could he have been talking about something even older? Some wild theories say Atlantis was a technologically advanced society that existed before recorded history, maybe even in Antarctica, before the continent was covered in ice. Sounds crazy, right? But there are people who believe that ancient maps show Antarctica without ice, and that's where Atlantis was located. While we're talking theories, what do you think? Could Atlantis be an ancient civilization that's been lost to time? Or was it all just an elaborate story? Leave your thoughts in the comments and let's see what the majority thinks. Now here's where things get even weirder. Recently, there's been a lot of buzz around the Rishat structure, or the Eye of the Sahara, in Mauritania, Africa. This massive circular formation looks surprisingly similar to Plato's description of Atlantis, concentric rings of water and land. While many geologists believe it's a natural formation, others suggest it could be the remnants of a lost city that was destroyed by flooding or desertification. Could this actually be the long-lost Atlantis? We've also seen some pretty compelling underwater discoveries. In the past few decades, ruins have been found off the coasts of Spain, Greece, and even the Bahamas, leading some researchers to speculate that these might be parts of ancient civilizations that were submerged after the last ice age. Rising sea levels could have drowned entire cities, giving rise to legends of lost lands like Atlantis. But, as intriguing as these findings are, they're still just theories. So, why does the legend of Atlantis still captivate us after all these centuries? Maybe it's because Atlantis represents something deeper, our desire to discover lost knowledge, to unlock the mysteries of our past, and to imagine a world where civilization was once far more advanced than we give it credit for. The idea that an entire society could vanish beneath the waves is haunting, but also alluring. And maybe that's why we keep searching. Here's my final question for you. What if we did find Atlantis? Would it change our understanding of human history? Or would it just raise more questions? Drop a comment below with your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the mysteries of history. Who knows? Atlantis might just be the tip of the iceberg.